Good morning and welcome to today's live session, London, with Harmonic Scanner and pitchforks. So let's get started and start sharing screen. So first of all, let's have a look. Good morning. Let's have a look at the news. We follow the same procedure every day. So Thursday, we've got GBP Red News, Governor of the Bank of England speaking. That's at 10:30 UK time. And also I wanted to point out, I just saw some news flash up that the, yeah, I was quite cozy where I was too. That the Russians seem to be meddling in the US election. Surprise, surprise. So it's affected Asian stocks. So I was up for start of Tokyo last night, not particularly to trade, but I was looking at the scanner and things like that. And this is a buy scan, this Euro JPY. We had a very nice D point here on the 21st of October. So it had done its break and retest. Rejection for the buy, so it said buy me, buy me, buy me, buy me there, and we had the quarter theory. So that's, and there's the 62 EMA. So once price, I had put my slider there to remind me that once price got above the 62, I'd be looking at it for a buy. But instead, you can see that it has tanked. And that could be because of this news that the, for those of you who've just come on, the Russians are meddling in the US election apparently, and Asian stocks. It's affecting Asian stocks. So keep an eye on Asian stocks. And we know we've got some volatility on the Euro and GBP going on, although the GBP, as you saw, shot up yesterday because they said they are going to resume stocks. So I don't often... there's three types of analysis on charts. There's fundamental, sentimental, and then the technical analysis. This is technical analysis, and the fundamentals are looking at the news. So we look at the Forex factory, and then sentiment is what you feel things are going to do, I think. I can't quite remember the definition of that. So I'm going to take off that slider bar. We'll wait probably for another scan because we can see it is coming up now. So, you know, we may have an entry up here. So that's Euro JPY. I'll put an alert here, then I don't have to sit and watch things. I'll put it on the quarter theory. Oh, it's just gone above that. That's a bit awkward, this one. I'm not sure I want to get into it in this area here. Below the D point. I think that is better up here myself, because there's always plenty of other things to look at, and you only want to get to the position where you're getting your 25 pips a day and trading on the days when you can at a set time, and not taking every trade. You don't want to be taking, you know, imperfect setups. So I'll just put that on there, extend the right line. Got the wrong color. So it seems a bit boring to keep repeating this or doing this, but I had someone ask me to look at charts. I'm always very happy to look at charts. It helps me as well, sort of think, oh, was that a setup? How could it be improved? You know, the more practice you get, the better. And they did have a perfect markup, so well done. I was very impressed. However, they had the perfect markup and they'd seen it all, but I said, well, the entry was just where price got under the 62 EMA, and they said, oh yeah, I didn't see that. That's why we use the confirmation checklist, because your brain's trying to think of so many different things like this. Is it going up or down? Where's the D point? Where shall I put the trend? What happened on the Asian stocks? What time of day is it? What session am I in? What time in the session am I in? How fast does this pair move? All those things affect the trades you'll take. So if you print off your confirmation checklist, if you haven't got a laminator, there so you can wipe it off. We use it for every trade we take. Tick off that you've got the confirmations. It saves your conscious brain having to think about it. Put it in a freezer bag and use one of those wipeable felt tip pens and just wipe it off after each trade. And then you're ticking off, oh yeah, the 62 EMA, there it is. So that's how to do it. So that's Euro JPY, Euro NZD. Again, I was up and watching this. I didn't get into it. This was the scan it was off, and you'll see it did go up to went right up to the outer extension, but it is now making its move down very nicely. So let's have a look on the 1 minute. And what we like about this strategy is we know our pairs, we know exactly how they're going to move, what speed they are, and which ones behave nicely. Now this is a fast pair, but it's Chance's favourite. He's the guy that we learn this strategy off, and he says this is the only one he gets greedy on. So therefore, it's my favourite. If it's his favourite, anything that's good enough for him is good enough for me. So it went up to the outer extensions. We're not interested in entering a sell scan or vice versa for a buy until it's on this D line pitchfork. So we don't get in on a sell whilst it's up off these extensions, because we want it to be off this D point, because the D point can move or the scan can fail. It can carry on going up there, which you'll see on the scanner. So I had it marked up here for a sell, and then I got fed up waiting for it. So I left it, and then of course it made the drop. So, you know, sometimes things move a bit slower than you want them to. But if you've done your analysis, then they should, unless news affects it, they should play out eventually. You can see that at the open of Tokyo, I was looking at it for a sell, and it, because I've got the pitchfork there, I've got the quarter theory, it's a sell scan off that D point. And I wouldn't want to get caught in this price trap, particularly between the pitchfork and the quarter theory. So the 62 goes up. It should move, or it can move in Tokyo, because NZD is a Tokyo pair. And that's another thing. I always like the logic of it's less to worry about, it's less to think about. So if London's the fastest session, therefore that's my favorite, followed by New York, second biggest session, followed by Tokyo. So in Tokyo, what pairs am I following? It will be AUD, Australian dollar, NZD, New Zealand dollar, and JPY, the Japanese yen. For London, the chief pairs I will look at will be Euro. Start by looking at Euro and GBP, possibly Swiss franc, CHF, which is Confederation of Helvetica, something or other, forgotten now. What was the F for Federation? Yeah, but anyway, Helvetica is the foreign word. I don't know if it's what language it is, can't think. For Switzerland, I remember that from my stamp collection as a kid. That's why it's called CHF. I don't look at it, CHF pairs very much. USD CHF, sometimes I don't have a lot of scans. It's a very slow moving pair. But that's the third one in London. And then, of course, New York, start by looking at USD and Canadian dollar. If you're looking at Canadian dollar, that's always affected by oil. Okay, so Euro NZD then started to make its move. And here was an entry. And let's see what's happening today on it. So that did do the 22 pips there. You had a break and a retest there. You can't use the quarter theory, it's right up here, but you can see that downward trend if you drew a downward trend line, and you've got it coming under the 62, little break and a retest there as well. But you could have also waited for a better entry down here, possibly. You can see the continuation of the downward trend, and it's followed down very nicely. So it did nearly 50, did over 50 pips there. So at the moment, where are we on looking at this for an entry? We've got a very nice entry down here where we've got quarter theory and a pitchfork acting as very strong protection against price taking us out in our stop loss area. So This will be, and it's a downward scan. So I'm going to put my next alert here and be looking at that for an entry there. Now, when it comes down to here, it could break and retest, carry on down, or it could reject off and go for the buy. And we'll just have a look at where the median is. So that is in fact the median line. Once we're at the median, we can take buys or sells. So we have, what I like about this strategy is that's 70 pips there. So it's quite 4728. It's quite a big scan. I like the preciseness of it because I find it very comforting. I just have to follow the rules that Chance has proven over the 6 years he's invented it, put together various strategies from other multi-million-dollar mentors who he's followed. Quarter theory came from Mike Miles, ex-professional gamer, fabulous young top trader in IM, highly intelligent, super. And when Chance was putting the strategy together, he said to him, what am I missing here? Because he got a feel for the charts, he could trade, but he didn't have a duplicatable system. And Mike Miles showed him quarter theory, which works. It's based on the decimal point system. So it's support and resistance based on mathematics by a chap called Ilian Yotov. Very powerful indeed. So do look that up or ask if you want more information on that. So Euro NZD, that's that one. And let's move on to something else. So we'll have a look at some GBPs, but we've got the Governor of the Bank of England, red flag news, speaking very soon. Let me just show you again. 11:25 my time, so that's 10:25 UK time. Okay, so keep an eye on that. So GBP USD I'll go to first. I did draw up a couple of new scans last night and put them in the chat and in the groups. So this strong rise here was apparently on the fact that the talks have resumed between the EU. So that's why we're a bit jumpy over the GBP and Euro pairs at the moment, because of all the Brexit stuff going on. So normally, not normally, but sometimes what I see, if you see this move, big strong move up like this, it'll make, it's like a banker's move, it'll make what we call a Bart Simpson's head. So it'll look exactly like Bart Simpson with his spiky hair and then the bits up at the side. And then price will want to balance itself out and come back down to this level. At the moment, let me see what scan I've got it in. I could see a scan behind there. It doesn't matter which one you pick as long as they're accurate. That's why we like to build up a library. So that's the outer extensions. It's quite a flat scan. The lines are horizontal, which isn't always ideal, but you can see it's rejected off that quarter theory and that outer extension on this scan. So if I just lock that on, we'll have a quick look back so you can see if you've got this scan. Can't see. And it doesn't matter you haven't got all these scans. I accidentally wiped all my Euro JPY. I went back in my group and looked at the search posts and found one or two old ones, but I thought, well, it just is as it is, and I'll just have to build them up again. If I really wanted one or two old scans, say Chance was on a session taking a trade off Euro JPY, I could ask him for the scan and he will send it over in the pip talk in im.center. So that was that funny, I don't know if you remember this, the funny shape scan here. About 5% of them work out like this, where although it is a buy scan, it's not got a good angle going up. It's quite straight. So not the strongest angle for a scan, but nevertheless, that's the one it's trading off. You should all have this. I think you've been following this strategy since, for quite a while, but that's from 20th of February, this one. And that looks like the best scan that I've got on it at the moment. Just looking, that's why I like to keep my old scans faded out in the background. Sometimes if price is way out, then I will hide them because I can switch them back on. If you come over here and put your object tree on, then it'll come up on the right hand side and you'll be able to see the list of all your scans and indicators that you've got on. Price, if you've drawn the scans on accurately, the pitchforks, lock them on and then go back and just have a look at the pattern and see that to the pip that price has respected the pitchfork and that your pitchfork hasn't slipped, and then you're good to go. Even if it's over a year old, we've traded scans that are 400 days old because they're mathematically based on Fibonacci, and the market is a pattern that repeats itself over and over. Chance showed us the other day that you can draw your own best fit pitchfork on any chart. So you can take a high and a low point. I could draw a pitchfork on there, high to low, give myself an up scan, put it on the 1 minute on best fit on the price, and that's tradable, but it isn't as accurate as taking a pitchfork off a harmonic scan because you're placing Fibonacci based pitchfork, which is which are aggressive trend lines in effect. Trend lines are a little zone to a pip either side. Fibonacci based pitchforks are highly accurate, and you're placing them on Fibonacci based harmonic scan, and that's why we love this strategy with its high risk to reward and its preciseness. It's so accurate. I just love the lines for getting in and out. You just know, because if you add on just 5 pips per trade, or not every trade, but can squeeze out that extra 1%, then over a period of time, over you've added on quite a lot of pips onto your account over the year. So that's the scan. I'm going to put GBP USD in at the moment. As I say, I updated my scans about 1 a.m. when Tokyo opened, 1 a.m. UK time last night while I was watching the charts. I haven't done them again this morning. So this looks like GBP is indeed coming down. We've got the 62 EMA now crossing down, coming down over the 15-minute blue line, which is how it would appear on the longer time frame if we were looking at it on the 15 minutes. So the orange line is our current trend, our current momentum. So if that crosses the blue line, it's telling you this is the current momentum. It's telling you that it's going for the sell. So that looks like it's selling. Also, what you can see is it's the Fibonacci, the outer extensions have done their job. They've pinged price back in, and it's done a very nice break and a retest there off the quarter theory. These break and retest back here at close of market are a bit too far back. We like everything as close together as possible, and the reason for that is to do with time frame. If you see breaks and retests that are several hours further back, then they are saying that this is going to play out, but over a longer time frame. That's why you want everything. It's nothing to do with being on the minute. It's to do with the slowness of the impact of where that break and retest is. So that's why you like everything close up together, because it means it's going to happen faster. So our next entry will be down at this quarter theory. I'll just check the size of the scan leg. So that's 50 pips there. So we don't know what the effect of the governor's talk is going to be. If it's economic stimulus or something, or they're saying they're not going to do any more stimulus at the moment, or whatever, or they're going to go blah 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 how wonderful the Australia deal is, and I don't see how they can. I don't care about the politics. I'm beyond all that now. But if they have got an Australia deal, a lot of people have been saying, well, that means they can't have an EU deal. So we don't know what's going to happen at 10:30 your time, but I'm going to put that there, and I'd be looking for this move here. That's the next pitchfork, 10 pips on GBP USD, and then down to I always put it at the 2-to-1 risk to reward, just so I know my ratios when I'm moving my profit down as the price moves through it. But we're looking for that 40, 50 pips. But as I say, we don't know what that talk's going to do. So that's GBP USD. I'm going to look at Euro USD, and normally the euro will move the opposite way to the GBP. However, as we've seen, it's all over the shop at the moment because of the talks. So it's been a little bit confusing, certainly has been for me, to kind of have the confidence to know which way they're going to go, because normally I can say, oh, okay, I can see on my MT4, I've got 8 windows open on my MT4, I can put 4 GBP pairs up and 4 euro pairs up, and I can see them on the 1 minute. I've got the 62 EMA, and then I just have a quick look to see, because prices, different pairs move at different speeds, but I can see generally a confirmation like the euros are going up, GBP is going down, or vice versa, but we haven't always been getting that, so it's kind of like being in a bit of a snowstorm. So there's our D point, which was 21st at 7 a.m. UK time. There, come down to the 1 minute. Let me just go back to the hourly actually. So we've got a sell scan, and that is 175. So again, depending what happens with GBP when the governor speaks, that can affect the euro because it's all bound up with the Brexit talks, remember. So don't take everything for certain or for granted. However, if you can, the key thing is to be able to get your stop profit in at 1 pip for a risk-free trade, then you know you're not giving money back to the market. The problem with that, but never leave it off, the problem with that, and it's happened to me many times, is I haven't given price enough room to breathe. And this is a sell, by the way, this is coming up for a sell. And I've been stopped out like at 13 pips on a pair like EN, which has then gone on to do its 50 pips. So why is this a sell? Well, first of all, now bear in mind the governor speaking, which could catch us out, which is why you want to put your stop profit in as soon as you can. We've got a sell scan, number 1, decent size scan. We've got the pitchfork here, and we've got quarter theory, which is one of our favorite setups because it's the power of those two acting as a double ceiling. Price has got to punch back through to take you out of the trade. With the Fibonacci based pitchfork and the mathematically based line of support and resistance of quarter theory, 62 EMA is a rolling line of support and resistance. You've got all 3 in your red stop loss area, so put a short position on. You wouldn't want to get into this until it's come down and done the break and retest. If there's a strong momentum down, you won't get the break and retest. You have to look at the size of the candle, but you don't want to get into this until it's done the break and the retest of both the pitchfork and the quarter theory. So we want a 10 pip stop loss on that, and then put our 20 pips there, and that should go down to the next level. If I just see where it is. So that's another reason I love this strategy. I can see very clearly every time you get into a trade, think to yourself, how am I going to get out of this trade? What's my strategy? What am I looking for? So I'm looking for the 20 pips if I haven't done any trading yet. 25 pips is your daily goal, and then possibly to push it to 50 pips, bearing in mind we don't know what the governor's going to say. I can't repeat that enough. And I can see also 2 old pitchforks just at the 20 pips running behind there. So I'll just show you those. There's one. So that says to me, when I'm thinking about this, I'm thinking about 3 things if I get into this trade. I'm thinking, so there's your 2 old pitchforks. So I'm thinking 3 things. Number 1, what's the governor going to say? Number 2, no, I'm thinking 4 things. Number 2, because of my jitteriness over euro and GBP, how soon can I get a stop profit in? And to put that, I always do the same thing. I run a horizontal line, and I always have it in the same. I have all my lines in the same color. Then my brain doesn't have to think about what the hell is that line. because subconsciously it's in my computer brain now that my white is the current pitchfork. I'll take these greens off in a minute. I was just showing you why I'm thinking the way I'm thinking. The greens are older pitchforks. Orange dotted is the same as chance. This is how he does his quarter theory. So if I ever, and the orange is how he does his 62, and the pale blue is how he does his 15-minute. So if ever I'm on his chart analysis calls and he invites us to send in trades that we've done, now your ego says, send in a trade that worked out brilliantly. Now, he's known I've been around a long time and he would expect me to send some charts in like that. But I sometimes send charts in that I've cocked up or didn't go the way I wanted them to go, because if you put your ego to one side, you're learning off, a potential multi-million-dollar trader. Why wouldn't you want to get that improvement? It's like going for your masters, isn't it? Next level up. So I'm thinking, number one, what's the governor going to say? How's that going to affect the euro? Number two, can I get my stop profit in because of that to 1 pip? But you want to be 3 pips behind your 62. So you want that to come down. Otherwise, price will want to come back up and test major levels. If you followed how your price moves when you're in a trade, you'll see it will come back up to that 62. So if you've put your stop profit in below the 62, you're going to get stopped out the trade because you haven't given price enough room to breathe. And number three, I'm thinking to myself, I've got 2 old pitchforks here. I'm probably going to just bag the 20 pips. The 5, 10, I work to those. I work to 5 at 1%, 10 at 2%, 20 at 4%. And that 10 pips is our 2%. So that's how we work out. And that's another reason I love this strategy. You've got to lose 50 trades in a row at 2% risk that we use in order to blow your account. So I'll just take these back down. So that's how I'm thinking before I'm even in the trade. I'm thinking, otherwise you're like trying to run down a ski slope without knowing where you're going, and you're going to crash into a few trees. I think it's really, really important to know how you're going to get out of a trade. And everything I tell you is simply from going on every single session. I jest not for 9 months. That's just the way I did it. Even if so, it's repeated over and over and over again to me. You don't have to be as intense as that, but I struggled a lot with my learning and my confidence and my ability to really think that I could do it. So it was just what I wanted to do, and I'm here on my own. At the time I was running the apartments, and it was a great joy to me to be around people like Chance and Samantha. I used to really enjoy it, and it was really super. I'm going to take that line off at the moment. I don't need it. I only put it on once I'm in a trade. So what do we have happening now? We've got the 62 has tailed off slightly. I look at the timing. We're on the half-hour candle. So I like to see what's happened on the half-hour candle. Let me magnify that for you. So the half-hour candle, we had a doji candle, that's spinning top, saying 50-50 price doesn't know what it wants to do, which is good. It means the trade goes either way. So you can see it pushed up on a strong engulfing buy candle, but the wick shows you that that's where price opened. It pushed down to there, but couldn't go down and ended going up. But then the doji said we don't want to go up anymore. I think I'll take that one off. And then we've got the green sell candle coming down. Again, it pushed down under the 62 on the last half-hour candle, but price closed just above quarter theory, which means it's slower moving, which when we come down to the 1 minute, it's reflected in the fact the 62 is leveled off. And you can see this new next half-hour candle is a blue buy candle above quarter theory. So that says to me that it's going to be slower on moving. There you are on the 15 minutes, just caught in this little area here. So this doesn't look like it's going to move particularly fast. Here it is on the 1 minute with all that stall out. So what we're waiting for now is we've had that break in the retest back there, and that was 13 pips. So you've had that back there. There's the Tokyo changeover to London and a push up That was our 10 o'clock here, 9 a.m. London open there. So this is looking nice, but that's why the 62's tailed off, because that half-hour candle said that it opened above quarter theory. So price will make its move. It can't just carry along like this. So what I'm going to do is put my alert up. So I'm very interested in this one. The only thing that puts me off is the governor speaking on the GBP, which will affect the euro. And then we'll move on and look at some other pairs. If anyone's got any questions, feel free, by the way, to ask. Not a problem. Add alert there. So let's just, and I'll just put that like that. Oh, just move that. And the reason I've just moved it down is I've got too many lines going on, and it'll go off if I put it in that little wedge there. So, and also watch the timing on your candle, because I'm looking to see if that's going to push above the 62 there. Right, okay, so I could see an old pitchfork behind there. Anyway, that's Euro USD, quite a nice one potentially there. And let's move on. Euro GBP. Let's have a look where our scan is. So we've got a buy scan on the euro. So we've just looked at Euro USD for a sell. You're now looking at Euro GBP for a buy. So that is confusing because you're diametrically opposing yourself. You want all the euros moving up and all the GBP moving down, or vice versa. So don't be thinking, oh, I'll get in on a sell on Euro USD and I'll get in on a buy on Euro GBP, because it doesn't work like that. You don't want to be betting against yourself, and you will lose badly by taking that approach. You need to work out which way correlating pairs are moving and make a decision on which one you're going for and stick with the one. First thing I see on this is an awful lot of wicks. So, and that will be the Brexit talk. So a lot of uncertainty in the market with the buyers and the sellers fighting against each other, and price can't go up or down. And then some news has come out here. However, what we have got is it's still on an upward trend for a buy at the moment. But we did see it tank against the GBP and saw the GBP go up strongly, as we saw. So here on the 1 minute, in fact, it's selling because we've got the 62 pointing down below the 15 minutes. So our current trend is on a sell as well. So that would be good if we want to get into that Euro USD for a sell. However, it's off our D point out to these outer extensions, and I wouldn't normally take a sell between the D point pitchfork and the extensions when it hasn't gone up to the medium. I'd only be looking for a buy on this. So I'm saying to myself, is there a new scan for me to look at? And I'm going to reject bothering to look at this because I don't want to take a sell on this. Even if it does sell, I'd rather take the sell off the Euro USD, which is in line with the chart set up on a D point as a sell scan, because this is going against my rules. So that's Euro GBP.
Euro USD starting to make the move, Sarah.
Oh, great. Oh, yeah. Right, so how much time have we got? We've got an hour before the governor speaks. So Euro USD, biggest traded currency. So we've had a break and a retest. Now this might not give us the break and the retest. You want all three confirmations sitting in your red area. So you want to wait really till that 62 comes down, because it can curl off on you. But this is looking good. At the moment. So we've got all the confirmations. We just want that 62 to come into this area here and cross, ideally cross that blue. If we had a very strong momentum down, then you wouldn't have to wait for that. But it is making a slightly slower move. And we don't want this price to come back into that. This has happened to me quite a few times where I've thought, right, it's actually doing it. And then it has it's jumped up above the 62. I remember looking at one the other day. It jumped up above the 62 and went and stayed in that little box there. So I had the 62 sort of here, and then it jumped above it, and then it stayed in that little wedge trap area there. So the reason we won't get another break and a retest off that quarter theory is because we've already had it here not so long ago. And that, although that's only 4.6 pips there, but we have had this break of the pitchfork of 7.9. So I'd just like to see it curl round, and also long wick on that 1 minute candle there 2 minutes ago, and a doji candle there. So this move might take a little while. It's just, is it coming down? It's just wicking off that quarter theory. So we have had 7.9 break and a retest there, and then we've had a little break here. Uh, 4.7. So let's just see if that comes down for us. So we could be getting in now, or you can wait until that 62 comes down. That looks like it's moving, doesn't it? I'm tempted to get in this Euro USD. Just stop the share. I need to set my thing up. Sorry, you can't see my screen at the moment. It's just going on a buy candle at the moment. It's doing another test of that quarter theory line. Just got a little pitchfork there between the 15-minute and the 62 EMA as well, little old one. But that was a strong green candle down, wasn't it? That's coming down now. You can't, can you see my screen? I'm going to stop share. No? Hang on. Whoops.
No, I can just see you, Sarah.
Right. So let me look on here. Hang on, I'll put it back on in a minute. Right, because I'm on live, I've just taken a small position on that because I can't always follow my lines down. 5, 9. Okay, I'm minus 1.3 at the moment. I've just taken a small position on that because it was on the green candle. It's gone on the buy, but I need to get back on the sharing screen, and I need to set up this other computer, which I've been saying since July. which is now, I've got the cables, actually had the cables arrive. Hang on, where's my share screen gone? Share screen. Oh, I've got something in the chat. Hang on, before I go back to that. Wait a minute, chat. Oh, can you, should be able to hear now. What is the line? Okay, the line is, the blue line is my slider. And the orange dotted line is quarter theory. We have it, it's a mathematically based line of support and resistance. So it acts as a ceiling in this case. There's the 50 pip increments. It's an indicator, and the pitchfork is the Fibonacci based trend line running off the scan that we draw on. The orange line is a rolling line of support and resistance called the 62 EMA, exponential moving average. So it's measuring 62 candles, in this case over on the minute time frame. It'll work on any time frame. It measures a different set of 62 candles, and exponential as opposed to simple moving average. Exponential means it's weighted more towards current price, whereas a simple moving average is just amortizing it, what price is doing over an average of 62. So we use the exponential, and the blue line is how the 62 EMA would look as if we switch to the 15-minute chart. That's the longer time frame. The 1 minute time frame is always the current momentum in the market. It's what's happening now. So it will cross for a sell, is one of our confirmations, and you can see it's a little bit weak there. So it is coming down, but it's a little bit weak. So once it crosses, we get in when it's got a strong momentum. So if it's strongly up or strongly down, and it's carrying the weight of it, then we can get in before. But ideally, we like it to cross. But we like our 3 confirmations all in our red stop loss box, which we have got here. But you can see price is just coming back up to test this area, and is that little trap there. So it is just wicking off there and coming down. So once I'm in, put your just wait a minute, 7475, I think it was. This is just how I like to do it. I just a bit like it sort of to look accurate. And then I'll set that at 10 pips off my price and add the alert. So once I've got that alert going off, then I know to have a look at where the 62 is, and I will be looking to put my 1 pip stop profit in for a risk-free trade, and then I can work out where I'm going to take my profit. And I just do the same thing every single trade. I absolutely love it. I find it very comforting. I find it very, wouldn't say easy to do, obviously, but I just love the clarity of the view and the precision of knowing where to get in and out of things. It's the only strategy that's ever really worked for me, and I've tried so much over the first 8 months I was in. We didn't have a lot of the stuff we've got now. So that's Euro USD. We'll leave that one for the moment. Just have a quick flick through what's happening on other things. Euro JPY. Still being pressed down to the outer. I'm going to close that window, not interested in that. Euro NZD. The 62, you can see it is running down nicely. It keeps testing the 62. It's still in its momentum down. So look at that for later. That's not going to do anything this session. If it does, I can always open the window up again. And GBP's dropping as well at the moment, just coming up to that talk from the governor. So that is a little bit awkward because it's moving the same way, but it could be pressing down because they expect the governor to say something that will be very helpful. But you saw the rapid rise up with the Bart Simpson's head, and bankers normally want to come back and collect money from previous buying positions and stop losses that have been left all the way up. They're now coming back down to collect that liquidity and knock people out on those positions and pick up that money on the way down. So it's like shaped like a teacup. If you think of a teacup with a handle, and there is a strategy Lizardo Tavares runs, which I did try, but I didn't get on very well with that, called teacup strategy. And he literally, he's a very successful trader, and he literally did start off with absolutely nothing, sleeping on the sofa in his aunt's apartment, I think. And he's now, you know, literally has transformed his life. So that's USD and Euro GBP. Euro's going up, so that's not. So they've gone the other way, haven't they, at the moment? So, and there it is stalling out. Well, I don't mind a stall out. I don't like the way that other one's moving up, and I would really like that 62 to just make its mind up and cross down. But a stall out for me is good because it's saying it can't really punch through that quarter theory. So the quarter theory, if that's the line you were asking about, price moves, any price's major move is 1,000 pips. And that 1,000 pips is chunked up to hundreds and 50s and 25s. This is why it's called quarter theory. It's based on the decimal point system. If you want to look at the video on YouTube, type in Ilyan Yotov. He's the chap that invented it, and it's because bankers settle up to zeros and fives. They're dealing with such large sums of money. So these lines represent their stop losses, and we know that never to place our opening trade on a quarter theory because that's where they settle up, and that they are working to these levels the whole time. It's thoroughly proven, very powerful in indicator, and we have it bound up in this HPF index indicators here. It's got the 62, the 930 is 62 times 15 minutes, gives you 930 length for that blue line, and the 50 is the quarter theory. So we've got the 3 in 1, which saves you some indicators. So that's that, and let's look at the last few Euro GBPs. GA I saw there. GA. D point was the 20th of October. This is one of our new scans, and it's pushed up, but in line with, and bear in mind that the governor speaking, it's coming back into that D point. I'm only interested in this as a sell. GBP, 3 reasons for a downside correction after the Brexit breakout. That's what FX Streets has just flashed up in the corner. So that's saying to me GBPs are going down. That's the fundamentals. So we've got it under the 62. We've got quite a nice line of entry there. So I'm going to put my trend line here with an alert, because I would only want to get into this at that pitchfork level, not at the quarter theory, not anywhere in here. So I'll put an alert there and be looking for it for that break and retest down. I don't want any buy position on this. So it's just a process of elimination. GA, one of our fast moving pairs, you do want to, so I'll set that up like that to remind me. Then it's less to think about when I'm coming over where alerts go off. I know, oh yeah, that's what I'm looking for, because your brain gets busy with other things. You've had phone calls, post to open, people asking you to cook dinner or whatever, interrupting our trading. And, you know, you want to be able to come on and think, I don't have to even think about it. I think, okay, I'm only looking for a sell. I've marked it up that way. I've got my alert on there just above that line. Therefore, I know I don't want to get in anywhere above it. And I can see what you know, that's all instant. In terms of getting out of the trade, I always set it at the 1 to 2. However, for a fast pair like GA, I'd be looking for 39, 40 pips there. So again, I've got my thinking cap on before I get in the trade. How am I going to get out of this trade? Where am I looking to squeeze it to? And I can see an old pitchfork running through there, which might, if it's stalled out around about that level, make me close the trade even on a fast pair. So that's GA. GJ. We have got the Asian stocks, for those of you who came on a bit later. Apparently, surprise, surprise, Russians meddling in the US elections. It's affected Asian stocks, but we've got the GBP going down as well. I've got a very nice entry down there. I'll just look at the chat in a minute. So let me look at where my scan is. This is actually a buy scan, which it has worked. I can't get my words out. Which has been working its way up very nicely. It's just shy of the median line, but in a 6.6 trillion market, bigger than the US stock exchange, most liquid market there is. If that's like 1 to 2 pips, then we do call it a touch. So what I'll look on the 1 minute though, because this is the hourly. Once it's touched the median, we can take sells. So you can see that it is moving down there. There's that Bart Simpson's head off the quarter theory on the hourly. So let's have a look back at the 1 minute. I just want to see how far it was off touching that median. How many pips? Oh, hang on, got that wrong. Oh, that was 4.9 pips. So, and there's just an old outer extensions. It's just absolutely touched it perfectly. That's what I love about this. It's such a precise strategy. Can you see there? It's just touched that absolutely perfectly. An old extension, those 2 green lines over that upper scan. So it's respected that beautifully and rejected off it there at the 4.9 pips off the median. So that held it there, and now it's coming down. So here's this correction. So I probably would, given what everyone's been saying, the political analysis, even though that's 4.9 pips off the median, I probably might think about a trade here for the sell back down. Not sure. Depends what other opportunities I had, because technically I should only be looking at a buy on this, as it hasn't actually touched the median, and 4.9 pips isn't a touch. So I'll just put that there. So I've got an alert on there. So GJ, mixed message really. What else have we got? How are we doing for time? A couple more. Can do a couple more. GN, our wild and wonderful one. Are you good boy? Right, GN hourly. It's come back up into an old scan. Very wild pair. If you're new, please don't trade it. So that, now we've got a GBP saying it's correcting downwards, but we'll look at the scan it's in. There is an old scan there, sell scan, but it hasn't come down to that yet. So I'll be looking at that scan next. This one here. Sorry, I'm going to add another color in. There. So I've got another scan. I'm going to start to look at it in there once it does that correction. But at the moment, it's in Scan from, it's a buy scan from the 1st of July 2019. There you are, 2019. Crazy, isn't it? Okay, so let me come back to the 1 minute. And that, now this is the wildest pair in the market, so you have got very strong momentum on that 62. It's coming down, let me just fade that out, save confusion. Just want to see where there's the outer extensions. So this is a scan that is, oh, that's huge, 138. So 4, 520, about 550 pips. Big, powerful scan. But it was a buy scan. That doesn't really matter now. You want that, let me look at the gap. We don't play with this very often because it's like playing with fire. 25 pips there, shoveling it down very hard, but you have got the talk coming up in half an hour. I don't suggest you get into any GP pairs at the moment. And then because of the size of the scan, you can take quarter theory trades. If you get a good break and a retest, got the 62 coming down, and you've put a fib on it, or you've got 3 confirmations anyway, and that could be a channel touch or whatever, but it is a very fast pair. So I'm going to take that one down, and I'm going to look at one more, which was GCAD we haven't looked at. I'll just look at GCAD. And then I'll look at the chat, and then we'll call it a day. So I will be on tomorrow at 3 p.m. I'll do a Fork Friday tomorrow. So there is this big move up on GBP. That was me putting a channel on. And here's the correction coming. So it was a buy scan, but we've got that banker's correction coming, and we need to wait now till oh, hang on a minute. Getting muddled up on my times because I try and do, yeah, 11:25, yeah. So GCAD, where have you gone there? Yeah, so don't get into anything at the moment, but we'll just mark it up, see what we've got depending on what the bankers, what the reaction is. So we've got a strong crossover of the 62. That's one of our confirmations. In fact, we've had a move there, but if it comes back up, because GCAD's one of our fast ones, sometimes, no, I think it's done more than 20. Sometimes it can, but we've got the news coming up. That's 27 pips. So it didn't give you a break and a retest off the quarter. That's GU alert. But I wouldn't recommend getting into anything now because we're less than half an hour away from the news. So that's tanking anyway at the moment. Straight down there. And there you can see it happening on the GCAD. So here we've got an entry, depending on what happens at 10:30 UK time. Very nice possible entry for a sell. I had it marked down there, but I'm going to take that off. I need to come back to the hourly. So it was a buy scan. It's completed. That's me. I've left a channel on. I'll just hide that. And you can take a sell on this now. Let me hide that as well. Oh, I've got another one there. In case it's markups for tomorrow. So all along the quarter theory there, See how it respected it. So I'm going to put an alert. Oh, damn. Didn't have that locked on. If you do move something by mistake, as I just did there, then all I did was immediately click that back arrow and it undid the last move and then lock it on. For some reason I hadn't locked on an old pitchfork there. So I'm going to put my alert here, just between those two, because I don't want to get into it until it's cleared quarter theory. Add alert. And that's that there. So that's it for today. I'll just stop the share and see if there's anything in the chat. Yeah, the EMA exponential moving average, that was the orange line, 62 EMA, and the pale blue is the 15-minute one, the 9:30 length, and they are all embedded in that harmonic pitchfork indicator by B. Willen is the one we want to look for. Since I've embraced watching the old training, I'm hearing a lot about the 30-minute candle. Why is it important? Well, the 15-minute candle, the 30-minute, and the hourly show you what direction price is moving over the longer time frame. So because I saw the time on my clock said 33, I just passed the half hour, then it gives me, we're not in trades that long, but we're looking at over that time frame, but we're looking, so if I had a strong engulfing blue candle starting open above quarter theory, or just a blue candle, I was looking for sell starting above quarter theory on the 30-minute, then that says to me the move on the 1 minute is going to be a bit slower because the longer time frame is saying it wants to push up. That's why it's important. And the hourly candle is important for the same reasons. It shows you over the hourly time frame the general direction, like the strong sort of way the current is going over a longer time frame. But that's, I don't know if that explains it clearly. We can go through some of that tomorrow. What would your trade amount be? Trade amount is always 2% of our account, always 2% on this strategy, because then you've got to lose 50 trades to blow your account. So we always stick to 2%. I've never ever varied. That's what Chance does. So 2%, same strategy as on HFX with Les. Sometimes he does, I think he does 3 sometimes, because then you stay nice and safe. Yeah, so trade amount, and work it out on my FX book. We work out our lot sizes. You don't need to do it for every trade. What Chance does is he works it out on a Sunday. He writes down on a sheet against all his pairs what the lot size should be for 2% of his account, and then he uses that because actually it gives you a better view of your profit or how you've run your account that week. When you can link it up to my FX book to see your which pairs you've traded, whether you took buys or sells, how your account percentage has gone. So you don't want to be varying the lot size in the week, because you get a better stability on your statistics by just working the lot size out on the Sunday and using that lot size for the week. So of 200 account size, 2% would be, no, it'd be 0.04. You've got micro lot, mini lot, and full lot. So on that, it would be 10% 20. So yeah, I see what you're saying by saying 2, but that'll come out at 0.02 on my FX book. 0.02 lot size. Put in on my FX book, you use position calculator and put on the pair, put the percentage in, put what currency you're trading, press calculate, and it does it for you. But that would be a micro lot. Okay, so I've got alert going off at the moment, but as it's GBP news, it's probably one of those. No, that's 200 account, 2% would be 4. I expected 5 or 10. Okay, let me think. Yeah, I'd have to go to my FX book. I'll look at that and I'll post it in the group. Go to myfxbook.com. On the home tab, position lot size calculator, and put it in there. And I'll do it when I finish this session as well. Okay, so thank you ever so much for joining, and I will see some of you on the Fork Friday. Bye. Tomorrow at 3 p.m. UK.